and gentlemen, welcome back to day 4 of the Razor King of the Beta tournament. We already saw Into the Rainbow win 2 very fast, very aggressive games against White Ra. And now we have Tester currently up 1-0 against HuK. It's Team OGS versus the world today, as Into the Rainbow and Tester are on the same pro gaming team in South Korea. We will be going on to Game 2 in just a moment, and HuK, really his tournament life is on the line, as if he does lose this series, he will be at 0-3 and almost certainly eliminated from the tournament despite his phenomenal performance against Idra and the Little One. That last game, Tester really displaying that he has a full range of techniques under his belt. Looks like he may have just simply abandoned his original strategy in favor of the aggressive 4 warp gate push, seeing that he could actually sneak a pylon into his opponent's main. And Tester also showing that he's not afraid to cheese and to get really down and dirty with his gameplay, as we have seen him play straight up solid most of the time, but in that last game going all out, 4 warp gate, pulling everything off gas, and just favoring early Zealots for the win. So we do have Tester spawning in the bottom position, once again as the red Protoss. Up in the Northlands, we have HuK as the green Protoss. More PvP action. HuK is selecting the map as it was loser picks, so it does seem to be the case that HuK is favoring a little bit more standard of a map. No reason not to do Lost Temple. Pretty straightforward if you've played any RTS, as we do have this easy natural expansion, a little bit of tactics with the cliff, and of course it has been Starcraft 2-ized with these Xel'Naga watchtowers in the middle of the map, and the Gold Expo. Those are going to also be critical. And look at this, HuK is also scouting through the center of the map to make sure that there is no cheese. And look at this, if you head to this Xel'Naga watchtower first, you can occasionally check for a scouting probe exiting the opponent's main. So nice job by HuK, doing a little bit of extra to gain a potential advantage. Nothing came of it yet, but always a good move. And it looks like HuK is building his pylon right next to his main. Very, very good technique. No reason to build it too far away. The wall lofts are popular, but HuK always favors a very economically focused play with a lot of gateways, so his front will be well defended. Tester also not building anything at his front, getting an assimilator and a gateway relatively quickly, but HuK again loves getting many probes up, chrono boosting away. And here comes the early scout from HuK. HuK, very, very, very solid standard player who favors the mid-game push. That is his big strong point in StarCraft 2. And Tester, well, I would probably say unpredictability. We've seen him do everything from hallucination rushes to the 4 warp gate push to the fast stalkers with blink. Very, very crazy play coming out of Tester in this matchup. Second pylon going down for HuK. We can already see that HuK is a little bit ahead of Tester in terms of economy, as he was chrono boosting everything early on. HuK now trying to micro around, cybernetics core going down for Tester. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. HuK Cybernetics Core, getting a little bit late there, but finally managing to make its way to the building position. And there's the second assimilator going up as well. Both players pretty much doing the same thing. We love the second assimilator as Protoss because it does open up the ability for us to get lots of sentries in the early game. No reason really not to get those first few sentries out, as they're very good at managing space with those force fields. They deny a lot of cheese, and they're a ranged unit that can help kill this pesky probe. So sentries, always a favored unit for Protoss early on. Doesn't look like either player is getting a Zealot, though. Both players just going straight for that Cybernetics core. Nothing wrong with that, because again, you want a fast range unit out, so they chrono boost the Stalker to kill off that scouting probe. Second or third pylon going down for Tester. It looks like he is saving up a little bit of chrono boost, and no warp gate yet. That is very unusual. If we go back to HuK's main, looks like HuK has started the warp gate right away. Neither player quite willing to chrono boost that Cybernetics core, as that does give a little bit away of what you're doing. But wow, look at this. Tester, oopsie daisies, misses the probe. Oh my god, look at Tester being very responsible about trying to scout out all the possible hiding places. But of course, HuK, you devious little American, just sneaking his way up to the north side of the map. Tester completely unaware of that, and looks like very fast expansion might be coming up from Tester. Meanwhile, in HuK land, nothing has quite come up yet. HuK is building pylons at the south side, always smart, gives you space to warp in, and it looks like HuK finally now advancing here into Tester's main. Going to see what's up. Tester is throwing down the Nexus at the Expo. Now, if you are HuK, you are going to get very suspicious very fast. You don't see any tech structures, you don't see any warping, or excuse me, chrono boosting going on that Cybernetics core. Very, very unusual play, and it looks like HuK is responding by just building some more gateways. And yes, here's the HuK we know and love. The 2 gateway plus robo push push. It's very, very tough to deal with as you get a lot of Immortals out, which are great at combating those Stalkers. It's smart to build Stalkers when you're in Tester's position, though, because it's the most versatile unit early on. You can micro against Zealots, and if they have small numbers of sentries, you can run up and pick those off and micro around, but against Immortals, it's going to be a little bit tougher unless you are some sort of micro genius and can manage to shoot at the Immortals with that range of 6 of the Stalkers, outranging the 5 of the Immortals. Still very tough to do as the Immortals. Those slow can waddle their way up to your front. Huge, huge push coming up from HuK. Is he saving Chrono Boost? Looks like it wants to get enough Chrono Boost to be able to get that Immortal out really, really fast. And God, Tester needs more Warp Gates. 3 is just not going to be enough because... Oh, hello, Overlay. 3 is not going to be enough because he will be at least even with HuK in terms of Warp Gate production, and he'll be way, way, way behind in terms of dealing with this robotics facility. And it looks like no Immortals coming out at all, going straight for the robotics facility. Now, you heard me criticize HuK a little bit yesterday against Idra, as he did forget that key range upgrade for the Colossus, but this is one of those circumstances where if you skip the range upgrade just to favor getting more stuff out, it would lead to a very, very nice timing push. So it looks like HuK is moving down his ramp. And wow, Tester, yeah. Well, it looks like my Protoss prayer was answered. You do need the extra Warp Gates out early, and it does appear that Tester, very smart Protoss, getting a lot of those Warp Gates out as quickly as possible. Finally, those are finishing. One round of Sentry is going to be coming up, and then it's all Zealots and Stalkers all the time. Uh-oh, a few of these Zealots getting picked off at the back. See, this is what I'm talking about in terms of versatility for these Stalkers. Look at HuK just having to retreat. 3 Stalkers of his own are going to be plenty combined with these Zealots, though. That will allow HuK to be a little bit more aggressive, and oh god, Immortals coming out. That's an interesting, interesting choice. No sort of Colossus coming up yet. Curious to see what HuK is going to do. We have seen HuK do very odd things like get 2 Immortals out with a Warp Prism, favor getting the Warp Prism speed upgrade at the Robotics Bay, and then harassing at all possible angles and drawing his opponent's units to where they do not want to be. And here's that very fast blink coming up by Tester as well. Tester also continuing to just make Stalkers. You can get a nice timing if you do get that blink quickly enough. But I mean, HuK just shelled up tighter than an acorn, which I did try to break open as a child, and it was extremely difficult, and I can imagine that it is just as difficult to break HuK at this point in time. More Immortals coming out, no use made yet of that Robotics Bay. Very curious to see how he's going to be able to deal with this. And if we look at the food counts, we can already see that Tester is a little bit behind, 61 food versus 71 food. But jeez, look at Tester just slamming out as many Warp Gates as he can, getting his 6th up and only Stalkers out right now. Here comes the first big engagement. 1 sentry. Beautiful mix by HuK, just having that 1 sentry there for that Guardian Shield. It's going to be very difficult for Tester to find out a way to defend. There's more Immortals coming out. No Warp Prisms coming up yet. Oops, 1 miss force field going down now. And it's all micro for HuK right now. He needs to get into a good spot. Oh no, all the ranged units getting caught behind there. But look at HuK pulling back here to the left. Tester warping in more units to the front, but those Immortals are going to be the key units in this fight. HuK has to kill off a ton of Stalkers, and there the Immortals are finally getting into the front. Tester's in a horrible situation. In fact, HuK might even have more Stalkers, but look at that cute little rearrangement there with those Stalkers. HuK, of course, having nice micro of his own, getting all those Immortals in the perfect spot. Oh, micro crisis for Tester right now. Those Immortals are doing serious damage to all of those Stalkers, and here comes another round of Zealots coming up for Tester. Tester trying to do some amazing job of defending, and it looks like he just might do it. Pushing everything back with Zealots and Sentries. Those 6 Warp Gates are doing a lot to help keep Tester in this game, and there's a nice blink up onto the high ground to help Tester get into a better micro situation, but of course, with that 1 Immortal there, look at those 5 kills, and virtually all of those are Stalkers, and it looks like Tester is going to lose his expansion. 1 Immortal out for Tester himself, and oh, the blink to surround. Oh, that would easily go in one of the pimpest plays of beta. When you have lost everything, still doing the blink to surround the remaining forces. Oh gosh, Tester now looking to be in a much better situation than he was before. He has lost the expansion, but he has completely annihilated that force of HuK. HuK and Tester now dead even in food, 50-50. Could go either way, but of course, Tester has a few extra buildings down here. And let's go look at the worker counts. We do see that HuK is slightly ahead, as 5 extra probes, more Immortals being made. Looks like it is an all-Immortal, all-Stalker army for HuK. Still has not done anything with this robotics bay. Interesting choice. HuK almost certainly had a little bit of a plan there to go Colossus if the timing was right, but instead favoring the Immortals given how many Stalkers with Blink there are. And here comes Tester. Looks like he wants to crack this Acorn, aka HuK, but I don't think he even has enough units. But even so, getting the Observer there to potentially get a good spot and a good blink up onto the high ground, an essential move that will allow him a lot more versatility.